Recently, in my neighborhood and in my front yard, Black Lives Matter signs have been popping up. And to me and many others, it's extremely reassuring to make sure that people of color know that their voices are heard and that they are seen and that they are being supported by all of us in the Old West End and throughout the United States.
Hi, I'm Harmony Hudson. I am a second year Y'all apprentice. How it makes me feel not seeing Black Lives Matter signs in some people's yards, it makes me feel awkward kind of, and kind of like, well, do they support it and they just didn't get a sign, or do they actually believe that it is wrong? It makes me feel kind of sad, kind of, because it makes it seem like that our lives don't matter. Yeah. And some things that surprised me in school was that literally we did not know nothing about Black history at all. We didn't even scratch the surface of Black history, honestly. And the only thing they taught us in school was about Martin Luther King, and that literally only took a day or two. They only took a day or two explaining it. They didn't even go through the full-out process of it. So it really saddens me when I have to learn all this through the tragic death of Breonna Taylor and George Floyd. So yeah.
So for me, being a teenager, like during this time, like as far as politics and things go, like that, is very frustrating because I feel like the older generations are kind of just like, oh, you're a kid, it doesn't really involve you or it doesn't concern you. But when you think about it, like this is the world that I'm gonna have to grow up in, or the world that I'm gonna have to raise my kids in. So I feel like for that reason, like it's more important to me than it is to you. It concerns me more than it concerns you because you're not going to be around during it as long as I am. So it's really frustrating because I feel like people don't listen to teenagers as much as they should, especially when it comes to things like that. So
about voting, I actually kind of feel bad to not vote and to not be able to vote because it's like, feel like I'm not supporting nobody. Like, say if Barack Obama was trying to vote, was trying to be president again, and people are voting for him, I would want to vote for him because I want him to be our president. But then, if I'm too young to vote, it's just like I ain't supporting nobody, and I feel like that's how it is.
How does art help you process or understand the world around you? Art helps me understand the world because like it simplified things like when you draw a picture, you could break it down into shapes. Just like how you do that, that's how art helped me see the world. Like I could break problems down into certain categories and simplify it, and then make it easier for me to go through life like that.
My dad always lectures me on learning about Black history, considering I am Black, and I never really understood it before. Why would he be so concerned that I learn about history if that's already happened? And if it's already happened, it's bound to not happen before, right? It's bound to not happen again, right? What I didn't know was that it was still happening. It hadn't ended. And, yeah, I now realize that I really need to learn about it. Because what people have done in the past, it's worked for a bit, but it didn't work the whole time. So, we need to learn what worked and what didn't work. And in terms of, like, protesting. And also, we only really learn about the main faces of the movements in the past, like Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks, but there were definitely more than that, that's for sure. And just like those white leaders we learned about, we also need to learn more about the black leaders as well. Because, like, we didn't learn those things in school, and we should have. Because black people are just as prominent in history as white people, we just don't know about it.
Art helps me better understand the world around me, as many people use it as an outlet to tell stories expressing their deepest thoughts and emotions on current events. Something I would know personally, unfortunately. Right now, things are looking quite grim. I'm not going to deny the fact. I'm not really too sure how to feel about having a job that I love while others are being laid off, or were laid off since the pandemic. As for black representation in the art field, honestly, I wish there was more. I enjoy it. Yeah. It's really all I have to say, unfortunately.
My name is Josi Vollmar. I live in Old Orchard, and whenever I see a Black Lives Matter sign or any kind of inspirational sign in my neighborhood, I get really happy and usually feel the need to take a picture of it and show it to my mom when I get home from my walk or bike ride. And it just makes me really happy to see other people having the same beliefs as me and willing to show it.
Hello, my name is Cania Allen, and I'm here to talk about how I feel about people not having Black Lives Matter posters up or something like that. So, when I walk past somebody's house with a Black Lives Matter poster or something, it kind of makes me feel safe, kind of, because like it's some people out there who care for us. Especially like I live in a white neighborhood, and I'm the only black person, the only black family on our street, our neighborhood. So, and I see they have so many Black Lives Matter posters because like they know us, like we talk to each other, we hang out with each other and stuff. So they know us and they care for us, and that just makes me feel very safe, very safe. But when I go to like other neighborhoods, I mean, one time when I went to my auntie's neighborhood, and she had it was like these elder people that lived next door to her, and it was white. And one time, me and my cousins was playing outside. She came up to us and she said, "Get these N-words from out of my lawn," because we went to go get our ball. And she said, "Get these N-words out of my lawn. Nobody want to see them here. I don't know why you monkeys are here." And every time I think about that, it makes me cry. Every single time. Like right now, I'm trying to hold it, but yes, it's just the world is so full of hatred, so full. But there are some people out there who care for us black people. Some whites and stuff. All whites are not racist. They're not. You just have to get to know them sometimes. But it's hard to find out if they are or aren't. Thank you for listening.
My art helps me process the things that we're going through right now, because the things that are happening right now get exhausting. It gets sad. It evokes and brings out different emotions. You get angry, you get upset, and it's because there are things that are brought to light that were suppressed for so long because we wanted to live in this fictional world that everything was perfect. the Black Lives Matter movement. Like, it was being brought up, but it wasn't. So what it does is it helps me filter through these different emotions, and because I get angry, I get mad, I get upset, I get sad, but it helps me take that piece, and not really for anyone else, but it helps me document those emotions that I was feeling, the emotions that were inflicted on me from this point of where we are right now and the things that are happening. It helps me see how maybe we've moved forward because it's a documentation. So at one point we could be like this, but if my art tends to seeming to get better or on the issue or etc., it kind of shows maybe growth or adaptation for it. So it helps me process a lot of things, and it brings a lot of different feelings to light instead of expressing it or coping with it in other ways. It kind of gives me a format of documentation and a freedom to do what I want with it.
There are so many different current events that are going on, and one of the biggest ones is Black Lives Matter. And as someone who is Latino and white mixed, I don't have any much experience with racism towards myself. But it is an interesting conversation to think about, because as someone, in school, we don't really learn much about Black history or anything like that, which is very interesting. We only learn about, mostly what white men did for America and things like that. We never bring up Black people unless it's slavery, which is really weird. We don't really talk about much of the important things they did unless we're talking about, Rosa Parks or Martin King Jr., which is, again, weird. And then I have my family who thinks all lives matter, which is, and I think it's not a good thing to say at all, because it's I get it, all races do matter, but the black community is what needs help right now, and I think that's what people need to realize, and I think we need to keep fighting for that. And with that also going on, we also have the world being unemployed because of COVID-19, and as someone who is still lucky enough to have a job, I'm very grateful for that, and I still get to work from home. And my whole family's lucky about that because they're all allowed to be still employed. And I hope we can fight for all of this, and hopefully we can get equality for everyone and stop police brutality.